Welcome back to our YouTube channel, Chris and Deborah Hedgecorth. We're a channel that helps you understand people who are trying to overcome addiction, or if you are somebody who's trying to overcome addiction, it's just kind of a little light in the darkness. So if you haven't subscribed, please do that. In the month of September, we are hitting transformation. One of my favorite jobs was when I worked in the early childhood special ed. And for a couple of years, we brought in little caterpillars that became chrysalis. And then the kids got to watch those little caterpillars go in and form the cocoon around them, the chrysalis. And then they got to watch them come out of that and become monarch butterflies. And we'd set them off and it was beautiful. And so I started thinking about just through the years, how amazing that is. And in my life and what's happened to me and many other people that I know that's happened to them in a transformation type atmosphere. Transformation would be a lot better if it was easy, but it's usually not. The only thing that's easy about it is if you sit back and you enjoy what God is doing instead of fighting it. So I got to thinking about the little butterfly analogy, and I studied a little bit because I wanted to get the words right. So chrysalis is the little cocoon, and we think kind of that they go into that and then they get little wings, and then when they pop out, there they are, and they're flying around, and yay, they're a butterfly. But actually what happens inside that chrysalis is disgusting. I'm sure it's not fun for the caterpillar, but he actually dies. The caterpillar dies to itself. And then it's just nothing but these things called imaginal cells. It's just like a transformational cell. That's what the butterfly is created from, is the imaginal cells. So I'm pretty sure that when the little butterfly gets out of his cocoon and it starts flying, I don't think that butterfly is thinking, I wonder if I can land and munch on a leaf or do the caterpillar things that I used to do, because it has died to itself and it's become a brand new creation. When I think of dying to yourself and I think of that caterpillar turning into a butterfly analogy, we really do have to die to ourselves. And so I started thinking about this, and I just wanted to ask somebody, because I have been walking with Jesus for 21 years and I've gained strength because I know what he can do, because I've seen him do it over and over and over in my life. But to a new believer, what does that feel like? To somebody who's just walked away from a world of addiction and they've only been free for a short period of time, what does that feel like? So I went and I asked one of our graduates, he was a former participant in Finding the Family, Lyle, and I walked into his office and I just said, okay, Lyle, what was easy about transformation and what was hard about transformation? And immediately he said, well, it's ongoing. And I said, yeah, I know it's ongoing. So what makes it easy and what makes it hard? And he said, the easy part is, and he started naming some of the things, like just going to church and just letting go and praising God and listening to a good message from the pulpit and listening to, Christian music and all that is easy because it feels good to his spirit, because his spirit is being transformed. And he said the hard part about transformation is dying to himself. He said that if you have to say, it isn't that bad, then it's probably something you ought not be doing. And that's so true. We fight the transformation process by saying, well, it's not that bad. And so we end up doing something that it's like putting a roadblock up. Like God has us on this awesome path, and then we say, well, it's not that bad. And we put this big roadblock up between us and the path that God has us on. So in the NLT translation of Proverbs 3:5-6, the end of verse 6 says, he will tell you which path to take, which is different than the other translations, but that's the one that I really relate with. So as we're being transformed, sometimes our eyes wander and we're like, oh, look at that. And that looks interesting. And I think that would be fun. That's not going to be that bad. Sometimes we're tempted to take a path that is not directed by God. So some of the translations say he makes that path straight. And that's a great way to think of it. But man, sometimes I need him to say, get on the right path, Deb. And sometimes when I do something that's not, maybe not sinful, but it's not his will, which is a part of transformation, we learn his will, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Remember, like it says in Romans 12:2, then we're not taking a diversion that's going to take us way off course.